danza, música, teatro y mucho más en solidaridad. Muy buenas tardes, amigos, ¿cómo están? Bienvenidos una vez más a su programa La Voz de la Cultura con su amiga Rosy Valdéz. Un agradecimiento especial al Sindicato de la CROC, a Impacto Social, a todos los que conforman este maravilloso grupo por darnos este espacio para poder hablar un poco de arte, música y algo más. Y por supuesto, un agradecimiento especial a Juan Carlos Martínez, nuestro productor y mi gran amigo. Y sin más, que vayan a tener un especial y genial fin de semana, déjenme decirles que hoy tenemos unas invitadas espectaculares. Ellas son unas personas que se dedican a hacer un bien social y nos van a platicar un poco de esto ellas mismas. Personas que vienen a vivir en este maravilloso lugar espectacular como Playa del Carmen, que cuando ya se van a pensionar en este momento de Canadá, pues vienen a vivir acá y radican acá, y residentes 100% quintanarroenses. Por supuesto, hoy tenemos a dos invitadas de rechupete, y ellas son Janet and Donna. ¡Woo! Welcome to your program.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Y bueno, esta tarde vamos a hablar un poquito de qué se trata cuando hacen un servicio social, cuando llevan libros a las comunidades, arte y cultura y todo esto que les estamos comentando. So, let us know, for the people that doesn't know you, how long have you been living in Playa del Carmen?
I moved here 18 years ago.
O sea, 18 años atrás nomás, ayer. With 30 more years and the foundation 50 years of Playa del Carmen. And you, Donna?
8 years already.
8 years, because of course it's contagious. And so, why did you decide to live in Playa del Carmen?
First, I came to Cancun just on vacation, and I did not like it. You know, it was an all-inclusive or something like that. And a friend who was a photographer had been in Playa del Carmen. And so I climbed on the bus and came down here and
A little village.
never left.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah.
The weather.
The street, at that time, Fifth Avenue stopped at Constituyentes, you know, and Fifth Avenue was sand, you know, so it was like paradise, and it has changed a lot.
Well, it's still a paradise. It's a different
It's
paradise.
a different paradise.
Huh?
Yeah.
And you, Donna?
I came on vacation and ended up meeting some lovely Mexican people, and they showed me the real Mexico, real Playa del Carmen, and I ended up staying. I tell people, para la comida, para la gente, para la música, para la clima.
Ay, ¿ven? Y su español muy bonito.
Okay.
And so, how the project start?
First of all, I started with my friend Gail, the KISS project, which is keeping kids in school. And they give school supplies to children, and they also now provide scholarships for high school and for university. And so I worked with them for, I don't know, 8 years or something. And then one of the directors of an elementary school in Nicteja showed me his library that was 6 books in his office. And he said, I would love to have a library. And I said, well, I love to read. What a great idea. And so I left KISS and started Leyendo.
Leyendo.
Yeah.
Beautiful program. It started like 15 years ago?
No, just 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
Yeah.
And how do you consigues los libros? How do you do that?
How do I
The books. How do you get the books for the library?
I started doing just fundraisers in my home. I'd have a friend who was a musician come and make music and invite people and charge them money to come in, and I'd cook for them. And that's how we began buying books. But I went to like the used bookstore up by Parque de la Ceiba. I have asked private school families to donate the books that their kids don't want at the end of the year. I just have begged everywhere for books. And then as I raised money, each year we have a fundraiser, and we started off quite small. And last year we had one at Busso's and raised enough for, so far, 3 libraries this year. And there's still money in the bank.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And how many books has to have the library right now?
I tell the directors when I go there that I will have at least 400 books for their library. So and I divide them into 3 separate bookshelves, so they're for different grade levels. So there's about 150 books for each grade level.
150 books for each. And it goes from what? From 5 years to?
Basically, elementary school is like 6 to 12.
6 to 12.
And then secondary is 12 to 14 or 15.
But you have the 2 grades, right?
Yeah, I have 2 different schools.
And about the scholarships and all that you were mentioned before, how do you get it? They apply with in the school? Or how do you manage it? That you say, okay, this family doesn't have enough, but the student is very smart and he feels like he wants to grow up or he wants to learn more. How do you manage that?
I have never been involved with that. That started after I left.
Oh, I see.
But I know that they appeal to the directors of the schools to recommend students who are obviously ambitious and want to keep studying.
And there's a committee, un comité?
Yeah.
So they selected, no?
Right. And they have paid employees now at the KISS project, and you know, it's gotten very big.
Wonderful. So, así que pueden ustedes en la escuela, donde estén, aplicar metiendo con el director una solicitud, en donde en esta solicitud pues piden un apoyo para una beca y se considera y le hacen llegar a las personas que están tan amablemente y generosamente haciendo todo esta labor para que puedan tener una biblioteca y puedan tener otras opciones para ir creciendo en el tema educativo. It is wonderful.
Yeah, it's great.
And so at Busso's, right now, when you make the last event, you have for 3 more libraries.
Yep. And there's still money in the bank.
And there's still money in the bank. Ahí está, hay que usar ese dinero del banco para meter estas solicitudes. And the name of the schools, do you have the name of the schools that you work with?
I mean, there are 24 of them.
24 schools.
There are 24 libraries up and running now. And I deal with people at SEC, the school board, basically, who recommend neighborhoods where the children are not going to have books at home. So I don't go to private schools at all, and I only go to neighborhoods that are lower income. I started off in Nicteja, and I have done several in Villas del Sol. I just finished 2 in Nuevo Nobec. We have 2 in Cristo Rey. So we just, it's quite a list.
Well, we're going to put vamos a poner la lista ahí en las pantallas para que vean en qué escuelas es donde se cuenta con este apoyo y con este trabajo y esta labor social, para que si están cerca de una de estas escuelas, pues se acerquen a esta maravillosa iniciativa de estas bibliotecas que están al alcance de ustedes, y empezando con estas 24 escuelas, y así sucesivamente, si pudieran tal vez aplicar a una beca, acercarse a su director para que así mismo el comité pueda evaluar y ver de qué manera se les puede apoyar. Es una labor maravillosa. I think it is a very beautiful and wonderful job. We were talking about, we're going to present at the end of the program the schools that you're working with, so they can have the information. Oh, I didn't know we have a library, and this is the school close to my home, and so they can go over there, and at the same time they can go to the director and maybe ask for another kind of help if it's something that it could be affordable or depending on the situation. They will let you know to the committee and all that, and analyze, and by the hand each one goes into this wonderful path of education.
Or come volunteer in the library, because I have people who come and read to the children. We had English classes in the junior high school. We're always needing help.
Well, that's another situation that's very important. Para todos ustedes que quieran ayudar y sumar, se pueden también registrar como voluntarios. Ahorita vamos a platicar de esa parte maravillosa de los voluntarios, para cuando quieran ir y hacer esa parte de leer con los niños y regresar a esta maravillosa parte que se ha olvidado un poquito ya con tanto celular y con tanto libro digital, pero que se puede retomar, ¿no? And so we're going to put over there the telephone so that you can, if you want to be a volunteer, like a teacher, like ¿qué otras cosas? Musician, everything, no? Yeah. Because you have teachers that are volunteers, right?
Well, they help me, not full time because they're teachers, but they help me going out and helping me talk to the directors, that kind of thing.
And how many volunteers do you have?
From 10 to 20 at a time, you know. Now there's just Donna and me in the slow season when people aren't here. But no, I always have at least 5 or 6 that I can call and say, come help.
Come help. And how do you feel the children on the path of reading? They like to read?
We did one school in a little town south of Tulum, where we arrived there. Were you with us?
No, I wasn't there that day.
Leslie was there. And the girls were all in embroidered dresses, the boys were all in white, and they were, young kids. And they helped me carry the boxes in from the car, and then they just fell on the floor looking at these books. And it was like they had never seen a colored picture in a book, because all they had seen of books were the government workbooks that they receive. And they were just like, look at this, I mean, it was amazing to watch them. And it's pretty much true everywhere. Once the books are on the shelf, the kids are just kind of, usually after I get the library built, the director will bring in one class of students, and they just are swarming, and then sit against the wall and read. It's wonderful to see, very gratifying.
And do you do another kind of, besides books, you do something additional? For example, when it gets Christmas, and maybe you tell your friends, put all the clothes that you're not using at the moment, and you take it, because we do that on the Shamaha Association. We try to, depending of the month of the event, we always try to have and give something.
That's a great idea. I have not done that. I oftentimes am the judge for a spelling bee or that kind of thing at the schools. I always go to their Christmas parties or their graduations, and I'm an honored guest. But, yeah.
Because it's a terrific idea, let me tell you. I have also 15 or 20 volunteers that when we get the Caravana Cultural, we get together to do it. And so when it's going to be around August, I start saying, everything that you're not using at your kitchen, everything that you're not going to use at your dressing, and whatever toys, everything. So 2 times a year, everybody is give a lot of things. Then we separate it and put little packages. And then when it came Christmas, we go to the villages and to the community and have a fiesta for them too, because it's a fiesta, no?
Nice.
And anyway, they do it, no?
Nice, very nice.
So
sort of like
you tell your friends to start doing that.
It's what we do with
idea.
Cedran.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is wonderful because everything takes time. To do one thing, it took 3 months, 4 months to prepare the event. The musician who's going to perform, the guests that are going to go to sign a check, so the project can continue walking or running. It is wonderful. It takes time to prepare something, no? And well, what else can you tell us about these beautiful pictures that we're seeing at this moment?
My house is usually full of books because I mean, it takes about 4 months to gather the books. I keep a list of what books are in each school so that when I start a new one, I can go and say, okay, the kids really liked Harry Potter and, you know, Life of Greg and stuff like that. And so I know what to order for the next library. But I order a lot from Amazon. And like one corner of my living room is always stacks of boxes of books.
And shelving supplies.
And I also buy shelving. So when I'm at Home Depot and I see the shelves on sale, okay, we'll fill up the bathroom with bookshelves, you know. But the idea of having clothing and household items in addition, I'm just kind of like, I gotta find a new storage area.
No, but it's wonderful because anyway, they have it at home. And they will give it, so you can put all together. You're going to do anyway the event, but you can do it a big event, biggest event, right?
So basically, I start off going to visit the directors of the schools that have been recommended to me and talk with them about, you know, do they have a room? Because every school is supposed to have a room for a library, a classroom. And mostly those rooms are used for broken desks and garbage. But I go and I tell them what I'm going to do. I mean, the last library that I did out at Nuevo Novak, I went and talked with the woman who's the director of the Secundaria. And when we arrived unannounced, I guess. And she said, so what's up? What do you want? And I told her about the library. She started crying. She was just like, a library for my kids? And when I took the books out this last week, she read to them for like 20 minutes from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, you know, just to get them engaged with the book, you know. It was really nice to see.
Something.
So
I noticed that when you put the library, you put these wonderful drawings on the wall. Who made that? The students?
No.
I can notice that in each one they have a special.
Whole name is?
Who made that?
You know what Luz's whole name is?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I am seeing an artist here. I think it's Adalberto.
It looks like Adalberto.
but it is beautiful because you make all the magic all together.
Yeah, different people that I just approach mural art. There's a guy on the street who was painting a mural with the spray paint, and I talked with him about would he be interested in doing it. So, and I'm an artist myself, so I just have a network of people that when I've got a library coming, I say, have you got time to, you know, and basically it's a day or two to paint the wall. And
yes, because I noticed that you have this beautiful library, the books, but you have the whole package together because you have a wonderful painting that gets you involved into the stories that I want to know about reading this book, no? It is magic, no?
Right, yeah.
Tell me about your art.
I was a potter for 30 years and was quite well recognized in the United States. I'm from Philadelphia. Several museums have my work, but my hands began to wear out. And when I decided to move here, I began taking painting classes at a local art center. And so now I paint. And for the 15 years or so since I've been here, I've been painting Mexican doorways. And finally last year, my life changed a lot, and I said, I'm tired of doorways, do something different. So now I'm painting very abstract.
Abstract.
Yeah.
It is wonderful painting.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, just lose track of time, forget to eat, just paint.
But you were an artist during your whole life. You live from that.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing that I like the people or the young people, the future generations to know, that sometimes when they ask, oh, I'm going to live from being an artist, oh, you're not going to make it.
I was told that too.
So when me, you, or other people can speak about it takes discipline, but if you want to be an artist, you can do that. You can achieve to do it with discipline, and the passion is there. And so you need to study. And if you have these wonderful masterpieces in the museums, it's wonderful because it's the only way that your legacy is there. It's what future generations also can achieve to that if they feel like it. No? Yeah. So it's interesting when I find people like you that can speak a little bit. How do you start the school? What was the difficulties? What was the things that you fell in love on that way, like an artist?
I've always loved to read, and so when I started, I was an English major or a literature major, and then I got my hands in clay, and it was like nothing else mattered. And I took some drawing and painting classes before I graduated from undergraduate school, and then I got a position as a resident artist for a year, which got me into graduate school in San Francisco. So. But it was just somehow the clay spoke to me. My hands working in that medium was magic.
That's magic.
Until my hands wore out.
Well, most of the time we are all going that way. My mom paints too, and right now le compré una lupa así grandota a mi mamá para que pueda ver así cuando va a pintar, because the eyes are different with time. Yeah. But what is wonderful is that she doesn't lose the passion of doing it. She sit over there and with this big lens, she continued painting because for example, me, I have another situation with un nervio que está por acá, so it was difficult for me to play the flute, but we found ways to do it. So what is important, lo que es muy importante, que cuando se nos atraviese lo que se nos atraviese, la edad o algún tema físico que podamos tener, si tenemos la pasión allá para continuar, vamos a encontrar la manera de seguir. Y por supuesto, cuando un artista también ya se cansa y ya no puede hacer esto, qué maravilloso que hacerlo con la comunidad en donde ha decidido radicar, como es Playa del Carmen, y llevar libros y llevar arte y cultura y tanto a estas comunidades que tanto lo necesitan. Porque Playa del Carmen es un lugar que requiere a muchas personas, asociaciones civiles, residentes, personas como tú, como yo, que podamos ser voluntarios para seguir haciendo esta labor tan bonita de llevar un poquito de cultura, que es un derecho a cada uno de los hogares que se puede aquí en Playa del Carmen, en Quintana Roo. Y bueno, hoy platicando con estas artistas fenomenales, because Donna is also an artist, let me tell you.
More photography these days, but I do remember the day that your mom picked me up and we went to Teatro de la Ciudad to help all those young kids learn how to paint.
Oh, yes, I do remember.
Yeah.
Me acuerdo muy bien cuando estuve en el Teatro de la Ciudad, en esta dirección, y de repente dije, hay que hacer algo bonito en este lobby, porque era un foyer grandísimo, bonito. Montamos sillas y mesas, hablamos un montón de gente voluntario. Donna fue una de las personas que fue a pintar con los niños. When you say there's an activity, a painting activity, reading, whatever, you just have to mention it and boom.
Yeah.
Se llena de gente, ¿no?
Yeah.
It is wonderful because it doesn't require much. Es just the space, solo el espacio para tener esta actividad, ¿no? It was a beautiful.
It was fun.
It was fun. It was fun. A lot of kids. Y por supuesto que cuando ven a unas personas extranjeras más se acercan y hasta en maya les hablan. Koosh Bashka Wali. Have you learned this wonderful language?
The Spanish? I'm working on it.
Spanish and Maya.
No, Maya.
The ancestral language.
Accomplished.
Ya les voy a adelantar que vamos a tener un invitado especial, estoy pensando cómo voy a hacer la entrevista en Maya con mis 4 palabras. Hay que retomar esa parte súper bonita que es nuestro legado ancestral, ¿no? De Maya. And so, how is your Spanish?
Necesita practicar. Necesita hablar con la gente. You know? Vivo en un vecindario con todos los vecinos mexicanos, así que necesito
practicar.
Sí.
Sí. Y cantar Cielito Lindo. Es el lunar que tiene cielito lindo junto a la boca. How wonderful. Well, there's something else that you would like to share with us?
Well, we always need more books. So if people, you know, especially families in private schools where children have to buy books, at the end of the year, if they have books they don't want to keep, or if somebody's moving and has all of their children's books that they don't want, I am more than welcome to drive wherever and pick them up, you know, so that we don't have to buy all the books. But yeah, and donations help too. Money donations.
Las donaciones.
Yeah.
Ya les vamos a dejar el link para que se puedan contactar, para que puedan tener una donación tal vez de lo que fuera, $1, $2, un libro, o tal vez ustedes mismos que puedan ir a leerles a estos niños en estas bibliotecas, contarles las historias, contagiarlos con este entusiasmo. Pues todo esto lo podemos hacer todos de la mano en esta comunidad, porque la cultura nos une. ¿No?
But it's interesting, when I ask for donations, oftentimes what I receive are the workbooks that the government gives, because that's the sense of what a book is for a lot of families. And that's not what I want. I want stories, I want histories, I want science, but I'm not interested in government textbooks, you know, workbooks. So,
muy específicamente, sobre todo los libros que nos puedan contar historias, no los libros que usamos para las clases cotidianas en las escuelas de educación pública, sino más los otros libros que nos lleven a jugar con nuestra imaginación, que nos cuentan las historias, que nos llevan a volar y a imaginar y a crear.
Sí.
¿No? Y you, Donna, would like to say something to our audience, message?
Just be careful when you meet Janet in person, because within 5 minutes, she'll have given you a job. So just be ready to volunteer. You'll enjoy it.
Bueno, eso es lo más importante, que de la mano todos sigamos creciendo. Y bueno, hoy fue muy interesante para mí presentarles esta entrevista, porque es muy importante cuando personas tan maravillosas como ellas deciden vivir y residir, tener una residencia aquí en Playa del Carmen, y no solo se enamoran del lugar, sino de la gente, porque lo más importante es todos nosotros que conformamos y hacemos de esto nuestro hogar. Así que sin más, muchísimas gracias por este día, muchísimas gracias por este tiempo, y muchísimas gracias a todos ustedes que desde casa nos sintonizan, y esperemos que lo sigan haciendo en cada viernes a las 5 de la tarde y que tengan un genial y espectacular fin de semana. Muchísimas gracias a Juan Carlos Martínez, que sin él, chupi programa. Pero muchísimas gracias y hasta la próxima.
Danza, música, teatro y mucho más en solidaridad.